What's up, everybody? Mambo Mike, wellness coach here. Being specific about your health and fitness goals. Why is that important? Well, many of us have different reasons for why we want to exercise and change our diet and improve our lifestyle. And we're going to look at some of the different goals and how we can sort of get them to work together, and sometimes also look at how they work against each other. So for starters, health and longevity. So maybe you have a heart condition, diabetes, osteoporosis, or arthritis, or some other health condition, or maybe you just simply want to live a longer, healthier life. So that would be a good reason to start getting healthier. Aesthetics. So maybe you want to gain weight, you want to lose weight, you want to tone, shape, you want to get a bigger butt, six-pack, whatever that is. Performance. You want to increase your strength, your endurance, you want to get better at a sport. Function and rehabilitation. So maybe you are recovering from an injury or a surgery, or you have desire to improve your balance, coordination, or mobility, or flexibility. So these are some of the reasons that you might want to get fit and healthy. And so let's look at some examples of situations that might conflict. For example, you're running a marathon versus a goal of wanting to gain more muscle, like a bodybuilder, for example. So if you want to run a marathon, gaining more muscle is going to make you less effective at running a marathon. And running a marathon will, the type of training that requires will make it more difficult for you to gain muscle. So these are sort of like opposite ends of the spectrum. If you want to do both, you're not going to do either one very effectively. So you have to look at the type of training stimulus that's going to give you the results that you want. Another example would be like running versus swimming. So a lot of people think, well, if I run, I'm going to do aerobics that's going to improve my endurance. Well, yes, it will improve your endurance for the specific activity to do, but it won't necessarily translate into another activity. So if you get good at running, it won't make you a better swimmer. If you're a good swimmer, it won't make you a good runner. And neither one will make you a better tennis player. So these are very sport-specific activities. Yes, all of them will work your heart to a degree, and it'll make you more fit, but just recognize that there's no one activity that's going to make you increase your stamina for everything. Another example would be playing sports. So if you want to get better at a contact sport versus improve your health and longevity, recognize that some sports will actually detract from your health and longevity. Now, there's nothing wrong with playing sports if that's what you want, but just understand that some contact sports have a very high rate of injury, and the type of training that you have to do is very taxing on the body, and sometimes same goes for exercises that have a very high impact. So they will cause some deterioration to the joints and increase your risk of injury. So just be aware of that if you want to play a sport. That just because you're playing a sport doesn't necessarily mean it's good exercise. And you could look at a lot of basketball players and football players, and you could see how beat up many of these athletes are. And especially at the pro level, they're really messed up 20 years down the road. But they're getting paid millions to do it, and you're not. So you have to weigh the risk versus the benefits, okay? Another example would be martial arts versus bodybuilding. So if you're a martial artist or even a dancer, for example, you want a more compact body that's going to be agile and fast and powerful without necessarily being too bulky. So yes, muscle and strength will help, and it's necessary for being a martial artist or a dancer, for example, or gymnast. But more muscle does not necessarily mean it's going to be better. So this is the kind of thing that we have to look at when we determine what goals you have, and understand that you can have multiple goals, but one goal might affect the other. Okay, so like for my own example, I like to do martial arts, and I like to dance, and I like to be fit and be able to do stuff. So for me, it's a combination of things, right? I want some amount of muscle, but I don't want too much muscle that it's going to affect my performance in those areas. And genetically, this is the way I'm built. So I can do Arnold Schwarzenegger's program. I'm not going to get that big. This is the size I've been for virtually 30 some odd years. And I'm able to do everything people half my age are doing. So I'm 44 right now. And I feel great. And part of that is I train in a way that's going to maximize my health and longevity without doing things that's going to cause me injury. And, you know, if you want to lose a lot of weight, a lot of body fat, for example, it requires a restrictive diet. So for me, in my own example, I don't really want to have such a restricted diet because it affects my performance and affects my strength. And also, if I get really, really lean, my face gets like really sucked out, and it's nice to have a six-pack, but if your face looks all, you know, bony, that's not a nice look. So that's a personal choice. I've trained ladies, for example, who want to lose weight, and they lose too much weight. And I tell them, look, you look better when you're a little heavier, because women, for example, if they get too lean, their boobs and their butt start to shrink, and they want a thin waist, but they want the other places to still be filled out, and it doesn't work that way. So, you know, keep in mind that whatever your goal is, you know, you gotta weigh the pros and cons, okay? So that's just giving you a little idea of why I think it's important for you to understand that whatever your goal is, to really be clear on what your priority is, and then from there you can design a program that's going to be more effective in achieving those goals. All right, so this is what I do. I help people design, you know, programs that will meet their individual needs. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. All right, thanks for watching.